Hey, good afternoon, everyone. A quick Tuesday afternoon Facebook Live on a topic that I think a lot of you will find and receive a lot of value from. Something that continuously comes up as I'm working with the leaders on my team and as I say, coaching new distributors as they join this amazing industry of network marketing is the fact that 70% of the fortune is in the follow-up. And as I'm working with a lot of the distributors on my team and leaders, I hear a lot of people say, gosh, I've got leads coming out of my yin yang. I'm not following up. I'm leaving a lot sort of under the table. And that has been something that, I've really worked on from day one to master and not leave any single prospect alone. And I say that because you work so hard in business, especially when you're self-employed, that when you make a contact, you want to see that contact through, and the last thing you want to do with that contact is to let them go and lose, connection with them. So I brought a few things here today to kind of share with all of you, and I'm not sure the way you're following up in your business, but this can be in sales, it can be in direct sales or network marketing. But when I started in sales, 20 plus years ago, from day one, I had a mentor who told me that 70% of the sale is in the follow-up. 70% of fortune is in the follow-up. And I really started to understand from my early years that everyone you come into contact with is a connection, and they may not be ready today for what you're selling, what you're offering, or even wanting to talk to, but their situation may change down the road. And all you need to do is have a system in place to follow up with people. So what I'm going to show you today here is I pulled out one of my, journals from, 15, 20 years ago, because a lot of people sometimes want to know how to start. Well, let me just see if I can switch this around. And this is one of my journals from, I don't know what year this was. I don't know, whatever, 15, 20 years ago. And, I don't know if this looks familiar to a lot of you, but it sure does to me. What I did every day starting out back then was to literally day by day, write the names of the people I needed to speak to. And based on who I spoke to, I would simply diarize them for the day after, the week after, the month after, and literally endeavor to scribble every name I had to speak to every day. And so I really started to create that habit. Is that familiar with everyone? That habit that you need to be so diligent in your follow-ups and make sure that when someone wants you to follow up with them, you follow up with them. And so as you can see here, and I don't know why I went so nuts to, literally scribble them out, but when I spoke to someone, he was off my list, and I would literally then follow up with that person, depending on our conversation, the day after, the week after, the month after. And like clockwork, this became, for a good part of my years, my follow-up system. And you cannot go wrong if you simply have a system like this in place. And I suggest everyone start with that. If you're going to make 1 new call a day in your network marketing business, 3 new calls, 5 new calls, you can write those names down the night before. So when you wake up, you have a list of 5 prospects that you're excited to wake up to, whether it's by yourself or with your senior partners. They are always there waiting to hear from you, that you can reach out to people and make those 5 initial calls. Depending on what they say, you then forward that contact, on to another day, and you start to create, as you can see, a funnel of contacts that start to produce, as you can see, appointments in and around every week. And that's brought a lot of success on my hand in terms of talking to people and connecting with people and getting appointments in the pipeline, which is the key for making all these calls and following up. So that's one system that I suggest a lot of people start with. The next one would be these 4x6 cards a lot of you are familiar with, these index cards. Fantastic system that I used for many years as well. So literally these cards, you can jot down, I'm not going to open up this one here, but you can literally jot down the name of your prospect, what was said in the first conversation, and then you file them in a little sort of box by 12 months based on when you need to follow up with that prospect next. And it's just a way of following up with people and following up with people and following up with people. And so another great way to make sure that you're not leaving anyone not spoken for. Because if you're going to make the effort in this business to build this business, you've got to treat this business as a real business. Every human being you're talking to and you're reaching out to build trust, to build connection. It may not be right away, but just to engage. Make sure you make a little note, be it in your day timer or in your 4x6, so that when you follow up with them the next time, you know exactly what was said 3 months ago when they told you to call you back in 3 months. And so you start to build that rapport and that connection. And that's been an absolute powerful piece of my success to date. And I wish that for all of you. Obviously, I've now moved on to a computer-based CRM. And again, I'm not suggesting that for a lot of you initially. Just start with, you know, a day timer or the 4x6 cards. But whatever you do, remember 70% of the fortune is in the follow-up. You know, you'll be following up with people on an ongoing basis. You hear all the time that people need anywhere from 3 to 5 to 6 exposures. So you better be organized, because if not, you'll let them fall through the cracks, and that is not good. And that I don't like that at all, you know, on your behalf. So hopefully you got value from this. Remember, have a system in place, whatever system works for you. Run with that system, be diligent with that system, and you will see that as you start to create the contacts every day, or you start to expose and you start to push them to the next day because they're busy or because they're on holidays, they ask you to call you next week. Every day you open up your day timer, you open up your 4x6 cards, you open up your CRM, and you start seeing a funnel of prospects. You start getting excited that, oh yeah, I've got to get back to her. He wanted me to reach out to him this afternoon. And you start to feel better about your business. You've got prospects in the pipeline. It's all about how you're feeling every day, rather than just waking up and just, I'm going to just build this business. It doesn't work that way. 70% of the fortune is in the follow-up. Make sure you have a system in place. If I can answer anything about this, I really, really, really see this as an absolute key to sustaining a business and growing a business long-term, especially in network marketing. Like, share, comment down below. Feel free to share this with your teams. I think it's such an important topic in our industry, but in sales in general. And enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. Bye.